Hey there, everyone. This is Dr. Yam, your Keep It Simple coach. We're going to get started with Biz Tip Tuesday. Alrighty. I think my feedback is acting up a little bit. Hey, everyone. This is Dr. Yam, your Keep It Simple coach. How you guys doing today? I want to wish you all a happy Wednesday. Hope everybody got busy and productive in your day today. Just give me 1 second. I'm trying. Here we go. I think it's not going to let me do it. Take it off. I'm getting feedback. All right. So listen, today is Biz Tip Tuesday, and I'm doing dual. So I'm actually streaming inside of two groups today. So I'm double tasking, multitasking in the real sense of the word. So let's see how that works out today. So welcome everyone, those of you who are part of my Busy 9 to 5ers Hive, where our employees who are working their full-time jobs are transitioning into entrepreneurs. And then over in my Small Biz Society space, where we have newbie entrepreneurs who have already launched working their business but want to get better at content marketing strategies, tips, and tools. And with a little help from me, their coach, Keep It Simple Coach, Dr. Yam. So listen, today we're really going to have a conversation around who's on your team. And what I mean by that is when we think about going into business, and I'm really talking to my solopreneurs, freelancers, those who are, or maybe even really small teams that partners that have entered into this space of starting their business or looking to start their business. And one of the things that's important to think about before you get started is how are you going to get things done? Now, obviously, when you're first starting out, as I did, you are going to do all the work yourself. However, you want to enter into this lane of entrepreneurship with a mindset around what is that work going to look like beyond myself? How do I see getting things done besides myself doing the work? And so, oftentimes, when we think about going into business by ourselves, it doesn't have to be for yourself, rather, but it just have to be by yourself. And so, there's things that you really need to be thinking about now before you launch your business that can help you to leverage and put into place some processes and to capture the things that are going to need to get done. And what I mean by that is you should be putting your systems and structures in place and how you're accomplishing the tasks that have to be done on a routine basis. And once you have accomplished that, and I'll have a different conversation with the how does that look, but right now, what are some of those major things that you're doing and taking on yourself that eventually you will be handing off? Because at some point in time, you need to be driving your business in such a way that you're demonstrating some profitability, or at least enough that you can invest back into your business by outsourcing and leveraging other tasks that can allow you to generate revenue by using your means of your talents and your times in a different and more effective way. And so today, let's think about who's on your team and who is going to help you to get this work done. Oh, who said accounting? Yes, I know, right? We're going to have that on our list. I have it right here. So why don't we do this? Grab your journal. Inside of your journal, I want you to simply write a T chart. Okay? Keep it simple. Write a simple T chart. And what I want you to think about is what are some major tasks on each one of those rows? Okay, so I'm going to give you the things that come top of mind for me. And again, no matter if you haven't started your business yet or you have already, but you are still kind of handling all this on your own, you haven't really given much thought. And then there's some of you who are like, okay, I'm starting to really grow and I'm stretching and it's starting to get a little frustrating. And so you kind of need to think about how am I going to start to offload this work, right? And relieve that stress and let things go. The power of being an entrepreneur is making decisions, right? Because you're the leader of your own ship. And so you've got to be able to make some critical decisions and trust that the decisions you're making are in the best interest of you and your business. And so this also means that you've got to be able to build relationships, be mindful of who and how you're going to hand these things off, and have some discretion with respect to that. But we'll speak about how to select those partners. But for right now, let's just think about it at the very top level. What are the things that you know going into your business that are going to need to get done? And then who could be, or who are the people you need to think about handing it off? And also, I want you to make a third column now that I think about it. And that third column is, do I even enjoy doing this work? Now, why do I say that? Because there are certain things that I personally enjoy doing. And then there are certain things I know I don't like to do. And so, i.e., as someone just mentioned, accounting. Um, and so there's a couple of things with respect to that. So let's just start with accounting since somebody already brought it up. So when we think about business operations, I'm going to put that under the huge, larger umbrella, business operations. So when we think business operations, we're talking about in my line of work and what I do from a consulting agency, right? When I first started out, there were a couple of things that I started to hand off to a virtual assistant in this particular case. And so one of my things was my travel calendar and just setting up and doing all of my travel work. Yes, I could do it, but because of that was involved a lot of my work, right? So those are what I'm going to call on a business operation. So managing my calendar, managing my travel arrangements, right? Those are general list types of tasks, or what I would call administrative tasks. Another one, like I said, is accounting. So accounting is a large venue. So I'm going to make sure that you understand the things that you should be doing as the entrepreneur and the things that you hand off to an accountant or a bookkeeper, because there are two distinct roles. Okay. So accounting in the larger context, meaning that you are keeping record of all of your business transactions. Okay. Your business transactions means any expenses that you're incurring, any invoices that you're generating, and any money that's coming in and being paid. So those would be the things that you would keep in mind. Okay. As far as those are the things you want to always be tracking of. That's the broader lens of accounting. Okay. Now, every time you make a transaction, this is why you need to have, number one, a good accounting software. And doesn't have to, and I think I have another video that speaks to a couple that you can think through. And I am an ambassador to one of them. So I will put that link up into the group after this video lands. So you want to first and foremost have a good accounting software set up for yourself. This is going to mostly help you in your organizing of your accounting information. Now, that being said, if you happen to do a lot of transactions, both offline and online, and part of what people get really backed up about, because I will tell you, it happens to me all the time, if you have to kind of make this habit, is that you have to categorize all of those transactions. So in as much as I have my credit cards synchronized with my bookkeeping system and synchronized with my bank in the bookkeeping system, some things can be done automated, meaning that every time I go to McDonald's, it knows that it's a meal transaction. It will automatically tag it for me. Good. But there are other transactions that may not be so automated, and the auto intelligence of some of the bookkeeping systems simply don't know that that's something that you need to do. So then you have to go into the system and manually put that transaction as a category. Now, once this becomes problematic for you, or again, something you just don't like doing, this is where hiring a virtual assistant who has a bookkeeping background would certainly be somebody you would want to put on your team. Okay, so under the category of business operations, if we talk about accounting, then a bookkeeper VA would be someone you would want to have on your team. Now, you also do want to have on your team, no matter what, is an accountant or an accounting service. Okay, bookkeepers and accountants are two different things. Bookkeepers do transactional work. Okay, that's why they call it a bookkeeper, because they're keeping the books. An accountant does your taxes and will also help you to leverage any tax deductions and financial opportunities that you could leverage with your business. Like when you set up your business structure, whether or not you're an S corp or a C corp, or you're doing sole proprietor, there are some tax benefits and how all those can be laid out, and that's what your accountant does. So an accountant's not something you're going to see too often, but you certainly want to check in with them on a routine basis, so that when it comes down to doing your taxes, it won't be the first time you're having a conversation. Okay, so who's on your team for your business ops? Your generalist for day-to-day kind of routine types of bookkeeping, administrative assistance type of task, and then like I had in my case, and then from a business ops, particularly around your accounting, who's on your team, who's your bookkeeper going to be, or put the fact that you're going to need one, and your accountant. And so you can start fishing and looking for people now, so that when you do launch your business, you kind of have things in place. So when you start to ramp up and things start to get busy, you're going to get to that threshold. So this other column or note you want to make to yourself is, at what point in time are you going to decide it's time to let it go and give it to someone else? That's something for you to think about. Now, another category that I want you to put on your T list on your left side is going to be products. So even in a service-based business, when it comes to producing products, and it could be your ebooks or your online courses, or if you're producing products like manufacturing, even candles and things like that, if it becomes too overwhelming, how are you able to hand things off? So at a local level, are you able to hire some people to come in and do it in batches? And if so, what could that look like? Who will you be hiring to bring that type of work on to help you with producing products and inventory, so that when seasons come up, you're going to have that work in? So who can you have ready and trained to help you produce your products? Now, in the case for me, like when I'm producing ebooks or e-course books and materials, I tend to have all my draft content, but I'm going to hand it off to maybe my graphics designer, so that they're going to make everything look pretty. But the content is mine, because most graphic designers don't write. They're not copywriters, just so we all understand that. So that's another thing. So anybody who's going to help you in producing product work, that may also be a task that you may want to hand off to an expert, depending on what those product developments are. Okay. Another subject is your website. Now, again, in most cases, you didn't build your website, and I get it. I did my first one. I did it initially, and then I, again, got some help. But your website needs maintenance. Your website needs to get updated when it comes to you running promotions and things along those lines. And so you're also wanting to make sure that your content and your quality and your plugins and everything like that are all working and stuff. I don't know about you, but that's not something I like doing. I like to, when I find good plugins that are going to work good for my business on my website, because I use a WordPress website, then, I'll find those, and then I'll tell my tech support person, which is kind of like a VA, but he's kind of like a high-end VA, because that's all they do is website support. And then I'll be able to hand that stuff off to them. So when you think about your website, that's going to be another place where you're going to have an opportunity to hand that off and make sure that, and again, some things can be automated, but you certainly want to make sure that when things go wrong, you have a go-to person who can help you. Even if that person is not necessarily part of the service provider who's hosting your website, but you want to have an expert that's going to be able. I'm fortunate enough, in fact, I'm in the process of moving one of my sites over to another company, another small biz company. So I've been with one of these larger companies, and I haven't found it to be as useful. So I'm going to trust and do what I say I do in my preaching, and that is we need to support other small businesses. And so I'm getting ready to move my site over to a small business host site that does just that. And they provide some services and some support. So there's that. So they're going to be able to maintain my site, keep it up to date, and even add in a couple of extras and things along those lines. So think about the fact that you will at some point in time need somebody who's going to maintain and manage your website. Here's the other thing. When you have the need to when you're running your promotions and you're doing types of marketing efforts, that needs to be reflected on your website. Somebody's going to maintain and put that information up there for you, unless, again, you want to do it, which is fine. But again, is that something you too want to be able to hand off to somebody? So again, write that down. Website. What are some things that you do now or ought to be doing if you're not doing it? And then how do you might leverage that off? And who's going to be the team player to help you get that part of the work done? I have mine set up so that I have a VA/tech support person who comes to me while we meet up once a month. He does my checks because I have two websites. So one of my other websites that I'm not moving right now, but on my other website, there is automatic backup. We make sure all the plugins are updated. If I'm running any promotions, so I know I'm going to be running any, he'll help me with that. So that's how I do it. But website is going to be another category for you. Another category is going to be your blog. Now, I know many of you may not be blogging right now as business owners. That's another conversation for another day, but I'm going to encourage you to do so. Now, that being said, writing doesn't necessarily come as natural to everybody, but I'm just going to talk about from a high level the fact that the major tasks that have to get done when it comes to blog writing itself, in addition to just writing the content, meaning the copy of the blog, you want to make sure that one, the appearance of the blog is good on the front end, and then there's going to be what it works well on the back end, which is what we call search engine optimization. And so, again, is this something you're doing right now? If not, you're probably not getting the traffic that you could be getting on your site, which is part of why content marketing is a critical part of your business strategy. That being said, when you are thinking about blogging, and I want to have a whole nother conversation on blogging for your biz, but if you write a blog, then you got to make it look good on the front side, and then you got to make it look good on the back side. So who's going to help you on the front side? Yes, you can put up a picture simple and do it that. There may be some layouts, and there's also some what we call on-page search optimization techniques that you want to take advantage of. And I'm going to be honest again, this is not a category for which I am interested in really getting to get good at. I know it needs to be done when it comes to my blog. And so I know that I will hire someone to get it done, which is what I do. And then the other thing about me and my blogging strategies is I also have someone who helps in getting my post out there when I do drop my posts. So it's a part of social reads and also putting it into other blogging communities where we're exchanging and keeping everybody blogs kind of in circulation, for lack of a better term. So with that being said, how do you get that work done? So yes, I might write my work, or again, you may also choose not to even write. And that's another story for another day. But you can think about, I'm gonna need a ghostwriter. I don't like writing. I know that I need to have some articles written for me, but I need somebody to write them for me. Now, if you're going to do that, then that person may come with all the other skills that I just talked about. So you may be able to get one super team player that can kind of help you to not only write, but also do your SEOs and do your graphics for you for your blog. And you should have, again, kind of like a template that you are going to run when it comes to doing your blog post in and of itself. So there's the blogging sub team, as I would call it. Okay. Now let's go on to another topic. Another topic for your T list is going to be social media. Now, in social media, in as much as we just talked about the fact that yes, there's social media associated with your blog, so I'm gonna just keep that separate for now. One of the other things you have to be really consistent about is just that when it comes to content marketing, it's just that being consistent, routinely posting and showing up for your audience or your intended audiences on all these different platforms, whatever your intended channels are going to be. Channels meaning, are you going to be on Twitter? Is that's where your audience is? Are you going to be on Instagram because that's where your audience is? You're going to be on Facebook because that's where your audience is. Are you going to be on TikTok because that's where your audience is? Are you going to be on Instagram, on LinkedIn, or multiple? You don't need to be on all of them though, because your audience is not hanging out on all of those platforms. So another conversation for another day, but do know and understand that you need to be having a presence and being current. So that being said, what will that production look like in producing content that you can leverage on all of those platforms? Obviously, you're going to have content coming out of your blog, right? But again, social media and how that can be done. I have, on more than one occasion, I hire a virtual assistant who just does that, just does my social media marketing, and that's it. We map out way in advance. I give her some direction. We have themes, they coincide with my promotions, and all of that. And that's what that individual does. Now, I'm also really now, so I had kind of a generalist in most in the past. And this year, I'm going to be breaking that expertise down because what I have found is there are some really great people out there who are just good at one particular platform and can really leverage my marketing strategies and reaching my clientele and optimizing my following and my market share with respect to that. So I'm going to be kind of growing in the sense my team, and I'm going to get experts in each one of the different channels that I am a subscriber for, that I know my customers are at, and so I'm going to be hiring those individuals. Now, when I say hire, you have control levers in which how you will make that happen, but just know and understand that that is an opportunity that you do have. So social media marketing, that's going to be something you definitely want to let go. And here's the thing that I thought about, and that is when you have a team working in the background, it allows you to be in the front lines getting delivering services at a higher quality level. You're able to make more connections with people and deliver the services that you are intending to do. Now, because of my particular business, I do both online and service-based deliveries. So it's a mix of services and in the work systems that I have. So it's a little bit more complicated, but it doesn't have to be for everybody. So just know that. And then there's marketing, or what I call like paid marketing and advertising. And that too requires another skill set. Yes, you could sit there and do it and try to figure out how to do your Facebook ads and doing the audiences and setting things up and doing all the graphics and making all that look great and working it out and having a budget. But guess what? That too is something you'll be able to hand off to someone. Now, I'm talking about the tactical aspects of this work. Okay. Not that someone's there to be the coach. That's a totally different area of experts. Again, somebody else you may want to have on your team. I'm going to call that your coaching team. And we're going to talk about a coaching team on another day. This is more about the tactical aspects of your work, that you have not only a strategy, but then the tactics, meaning the day-to-day operational things that need to get done so that you can produce output for your web presence for your business. Okay, online and offline. So we also have to think about, are there some local things? So for instance, if you're doing print ads and things like that, or you're in retail and you need to have signage and things like that, who are your providers and who are those things that you're going to be doing? You need a marketing ad person you're going to be able to pick up a phone and say, hey, I need these custom printed X done. Right. So who's that person? Who's that going to be on your team? That's what those things will make up for you. So that's the things you want to be thinking about when you're creating your team. Um, Website, biz, blog, marketing, social media. I think we're pretty much done. So here again, things to think about. Who's on your team when you start? Not just when you're starting, but think about it now. How do you see the tasks, as I just mentioned, that are going to need to get done as we start thinking about your business plan, and also to executing and maintaining your launch afterwards? Who's going to be there to help you get the work done? Because, hey, yes, you are really talented, but remember, you're needing to focus on your zone of genius, the things that you're really good at. And then while you're doing that, who are the team that is helping you in the back end to keep that car running so that you don't run off the road? Because that's what you don't want to do. So I hope you found this to be helpful for this week's Biz Tips. And if you have any questions whatsoever, any recommendations that you want from me as I think about the things that I'm doing with my team, and if you want to be a part of that as well, let me know. Here's another thing that you want to also think about too. When you're thinking about your team and the people who are going to be on your team, think about them as your experts. And that also there's opportunities to partner with those experts, because each one of them are going to come with a set of skills that you can leverage for not only your business, but that you're helping them run their business as well. And then in the case, like in my case, because of the type of work that I do, I'm able to recommend them and do them as referrals. And guess what? In some instances, they have a referral program or an affiliate program. And those are things too that you can lever as you are working your business. So there's different ways in which you can really run your business and also be networking and supporting other small businesses at the same time. Because, hey, at the end of the day, it is small business that make this world go round. Until another time, this is Dr. Yang, your Keep It Simple coach for the Small Biz Society and Busy 9 to 5ers Hive. let's get busy. Bye bye.